Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rising Talent Talkers. This is episode 4. I'm your host today, Becca, and today I'm joined by the lovely track marshal, Matt Pryor. Matt, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. So, being a track marshal, tell us a little bit about what you do.
So, as a track marshal, I'm essentially I'm a part of a team that are responsible for the safety of all the drivers. So there are two roles that we'll fulfill. So one is flagging, and then one is an incident marshal. There's a couple others like grid marshal, but the flag and the incident are the main two. Um, so flagging, it's all about being very aware of what's going on in your sector. um, and reporting any incidents, making sure you've got a yellow flag out if someone comes off, keeping a close eye on all the carts to make sure they're safe, to make sure you don't miss chain guards or wheels. It can happen. um, an incident marshal, um, you are first on the scene. So as soon as someone goes off, you run over. You don't know what you're going to see. You could just see someone, a kid upset. You could be dealing with broken ankles, arms. You could just be dealing with someone who's just given up. Who's just you get a lot of people deal with emotions in very wacky ways. Another part of incident marshal is then if there is an injury or something more serious, is you then have to request for a stoppage, which is a red flag. So one thing to note in marshalling is a marshal will very, very rarely actually say, I want a red flag. They'll request a stoppage. Because as soon as someone hears red over the radio, they'll just go, oh, red flag. And it's like, okay, let's just calm down.
Take a moment,
I
guys.
know. Yeah, and then they'll have to ask for a medic, communicate with the clerk. Um, this is usually where you'll get silence over the radio, so it's only the people involved that talk. Because if you've got everyone chatting, oh, like I've had it before where someone's been like, I know you're dealing with like someone who's broken an arm, but that number's falling off of cart 23 back there. And it's like, cool story, bro, but shut up.
Like, do you not see what I'm dealing with right now?
Yeah. So grid marshal, um, in karting, you also have it in sort of club rounds at racetracks, I think, although that's not really
Mm.
my field. Um, you essentially set up what the grid will look like to start the race, but in an area in the pits. So so timing will give a running sheet. Who got pole or who won the last heat. That'll form the grid, and then you form everybody up, and it means when they leave the pit lane to go on their formation lap, it means that they're in the right order. Somebody in the mid pack will obviously spin and fall back and be on the wrong order, and then have to make their way back through to their position in a chaotic fashion. But that happens. Um, and then the other kind of main mark, well, then you've got things into like scrutineers. So scrutineers will check if a car is legal, safe after a session. That can be the way like disqualifications. Like
Mhm.
so notably McLaren Las Vegas. Yes, I have just watched Drive to Survive and just finished it. So that would have been a scrutineer decision that
Yeah.
caused them to be disqualified. Um, yeah, and then all these roles will all communicate through a clerk who's essentially a bit like a kind of the head of an orchestra. He's constantly having to keep an eye on everybody and make sure everybody's talking to each other and making sure the event runs on time. Um, which is kind of what I'm training to be right now.
I'd say that's pretty well summed up.
Yeah.
Um, marshalling. Um, so you have done marshalling. Have you done it in several different places, or do you always go to one track specifically?
So I've mostly done it at Wilson Mill. Wilson Mill is my home track. I started there 3 years ago. Um, I pretty much just went in blind. I was trained by these are names that only people in the know will know, but Matt Harris and Paul Syrett. So Paul Syrett is one of the clerks in karting, and then
Hmm.
Matt Harris is one of the chief marshals at Wilson Mill. Um, and that this is still my home, but kind of more recently I've tried out Shennington. I've also done Hooton Park, which is
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
in the in the northwest. Um, so yeah, I'm kind of slowly branching out. The new Silverstone kart track I really want to do at some point. Um,
Okay.
and I know I've got friends kind of around London who are like, yeah, you should come marshal near us sometime. So yeah, I'll slowly kind of branch out. Being in the northwest, I live so far from everything.
No, I've had so many. I feel like that's kind of a common theme, really, because I've a few people who I know out there, and they're always like, "It's just have to go so far for everything," and it's all like all you kind of hear is complaints. But it's nice that you are now branching out and being able to go to different places to
Yeah.
obviously be able to marshal. What made you want to do, marshalling? Was there any specific thing that pulled you
Um,
towards it, or
I kind of fell over it. Um,
like literally, or you literally fell over, or?
well, kinda. So, I used to work in IT, um, and I didn't do uni or anything. I never really had like a gap year, and I was like, I don't really know, like, I don't really have like any friends. Like that sounds so dark, but like, I'm all right. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, just I don't have to call anyone, do I?
Yeah, and I was like, well, why don't I try and just see what this motorsport thing's about? Because like, I've not really had time to have a go.
Hmm.
So I was like, right, I have no skills. What skills can I pretend that I have? So I literally went on a karting Facebook page and said, I'm looking to do driver coaching. I just made this up like an hour before. I'm looking to do driver coaching. Is there anybody out there who'll be able to give me some experience? Fat Kart League, someone from the Sam from Fat Kart League reached out and said, would you like to come to Fullback this weekend? Which is kind of near, it's kind of South Sheffield, I think,
Oh, right. Okay.
roughly, so northeast. Um, and I was like, sure.
Sure. Why not?
Why not? Let's go on a trip to Fullback. So yeah, I mean, I did karting myself as a kid, and I
Mhm.
sim raced. Um, so I kind of know racing. I've just never done teaching before.
Yeah.
Um, so anyways, I did Fullback. I did 2 weekends of Fullback with they were Global Kart League, they're now Fat Kart League. Um, and got pretty well received. I got good feedback from parents. I even had someone say, "Oh, parents pay for more coaching because of what you've done." I'm like, "Great! I don't know how the heck I've done this."
Completely won on a whim, and you just went
Yeah,
out and
did
kind of
it?
nailed it first time.
Yeah, and it was Bambinos as well, so they were
Oh,
really
wow.
little kids.
Oh, right. Wow.
So I'd never worked with kids before.
Clearly made for you. You were clearly made to do this.
Yeah, um, and then kind of how that stemmed to marshalling was I did the Welton Mill round at with that as a coach.
Hmm.
Um, Now part of the role as coach is we also did a bit of incident marshalling to help the marshals that were there. So I kind
Right.
of got used to dealing with incidents. And one of the marshals just sort of said, "How do you feel joining our marshal club?" And I was like, "Sure, why
Sure.
not? Yeah, something to do in it. Keeps me busy on weekends." So yeah, I was taught on a club round, which is like their big rounds. That's where um you're like 30 cars on a grid.
Hmm.
Um um I was told I did a good job, said that I could do any events in future, and then like here I am really. I've just sort of ended up being a part of motorsport in that way.
Wow, that's actually I've seen that's the first time I've kind of heard a story like that because you kind of, especially with people like important roles like track marshalling, you kind of get people with a lot of experience. Oh, I've been doing it since then. I've got, these kind of skills. I've got all, all this. I've got all these connections. But you've kind of just gone out there on the whim, been like,
Yeah,
sure, I'll come here. Sure, I'll go do this, and you've kind of really grasped that opportunity, and now really turned it into something that you can do quite well.
yeah, yeah. And I honestly, one of my kind of advantages was, at the time I literally just left my IT job because I was just like, I need to do just something else. I just need to, I like, I was bored of fixing printers, all right. Like, there's only so many times you can turn it off and on again.
Like you
Uh,
guys can do this yourselves. You didn't have
I
to. I didn't
know.
have to say you had to do this.
Yeah, I've just been saying yes to stuff ever since.
I
And
think that's really important to say yes though, because not many people realize how one yes to something can really change your
yeah,
life.
I mean, my Instagram, the only reason I set it up was because of free storage for photos.
Mhm.
I I'm not like a social like naturally I'm not really a social media person. So yeah, I noticed the kids had social media. And I'm not saying there were 10-year-olds on Instagram, but
Mhm.
there were parents who had social media accounts for their kids.
Yeah.
Um, and I just thought, well, I'll try and learn it. So I kind of messed around with Canva, messed around with formatting a post. I'm not an expert on it. It's not entirely my forte,
Mhm.
to use a fancy word, forte,
So,
forte. Um, but um, yeah, and then I now have 550 followers from not caring about social media, which I think is rather impressive.
yeah, I would say so.
And well, kind of from that last year, I networked with a master called Nina, who marshals at Snetterton mostly,
Mhm.
and she's like a big hair style. She likes dyeing her hair and fashion and all of that world.
Yeah.
So we've actually got a promise that when I hit 1,000 followers, I will dye my hair blonde
Oh, all
and
right.
hope. And the plan is for Nina to do it on a live stream. Now, I mean, that might not happen because logistically it might be difficult, but I
Mhm.
will go blonde when I hit 1,000 followers
Oh, we
for a
look
laugh.
forward to seeing that then. I'll everyone go follow Matt on Instagram.
Yeah.
We want to see it. We want to see him go blonde.
So I think I'm on 550 at the moment,
Yeah.
approximately. So
I mean,
we
you're
can
over
do this.
halfway there. You're over halfway there.
Exactly.
That's totally reasonable.
And the hope is we're going to try and raise some money for cancer research, which is
Mhm.
a charity that Nina chose. Um, so it should be a laugh.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
lovely. In regards to marshalling, we know how important it is. Obviously, you came in with no experience. You kind of just said yes. But in regards to all the experience you have now, what qualities would you say are vital for track marshals to have?
Um, Absolutely communication. But
Mm.
when I say that, I don't just mean you talk loads. Because
Yeah.
talking loads is actually it can become unhelpful very,
Mhm.
very quickly.
Yeah.
Um, so it's thinking about what you want to say and then saying it in the shortest possible way you can.
Yeah.
Because you do have cases where, you know, if I saw two cars hit each other, I would say ABC, which is advantage by contact, and then overtake would just mean they stay on track, but a position was gained, or takeout means someone's been taken out. So ABC takeout 24 on 73,
Hmm.
post four or turn four, or however they do it on that track. But then you have people who go, well, I was looking at this incident between car 23 and he went for a move up the inside. I don't know if he had a brake failure or not, but he ended up taking out this other car. And the guy did wave his hand to apologize, so I'm not really sure if it's worth giving a penalty. And like, bro's written a Shakespeare novel.
By the time, like, all these people need help and need, attention, whatever it is, and you're sat there like, mate, you've just written an autobiography.
I
What?
know, like, we didn't ask for a podcast.
I mean, we
Um,
did. That's why you're here.
well, damn it, I'm caught in an infinite loop. Absolutely communicate, and even communication when, especially your kind of cadets,
Hmm.
they're more likely to cry because they're kids. Like
Yeah.
when I was a kid, I'd just cry for my ice cream just falling out. Like
Yeah.
I cry all the time, still do. Uh,
You okay, Matt? Do we need to?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Just therapy's expensive, you know. So you could have a case where a kid who's leading the championship has had an incident or his engine's cut out and he's had a breakdown and he's kind of been that kind of bawling eyes out, rage, a lot of emotions, and they don't really know where they are when they're in that state. They're kind of just wandering around. Their mind is so occupied with being upset that they can just wander onto the track and they don't know that they've wandered onto the track. So
Mhm.
you have to really make sure, right? I know you're upset, but I want you to do this. I want you to go over here where it's safe.
Yeah.
You can be upset there, but I don't want you to be crying in the middle of a racetrack. That's not going to end well.
And I do.
But you do find, especially the drivers who have been racing since they were young,
Hmm.
they'll be able to go through all this emotions of rage and tears. But I've had cases where they've literally been like banging a tire wall, and then they come into a marshal post that I'm at, and within 5 minutes, we're just joking about.
Yeah.
They've learned that how to kind of get themselves under control.
Hmm.
Um, but you do like you'll find a lot of these drivers, they race every weekend, they're used to it. Whereas if you have a driver who maybe just their family can't afford to support them every weekend, or it just logistically doesn't work,
Hmm.
it takes them longer to develop that kind of self-control. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned earlier about maybe future tracks you would like to marshal at. Are there any others that kind of make, you really want to attend and marshal for that you haven't
Um,
mentioned?
I want to visit Clay Pigeon, which is
Hmm.
kind of near Dorchester way, I think. Um,
I have no idea. I'm gonna have to look up a map. I don't have no idea.
so I did do a little bit with the championship there once, but in another role, and I'd quite like to do it as a marshal. I've got a friend who marshals at PFI, Richard. He does PFI quite a lot, and I will eventually move to car marshalling.
Hmm.
Um, I recently did a training day at Alton Park, which is my kind of local main track.
All right.
Um, so I I'm someone who like likes to just do new stuff all the time. I don't really settle. Like my CV is a complete mess. It's just like, oh, I did this over here, then now I'm over here. And yeah, I think I would like to move to cars and then eventually get my grades up, be able to do Formula One. I think that'd be really cool.
So Formula One would is kind of like an end goal for you then for marshalling.
Yeah, so my current trajectory. So I did this stuff recently, signed on the trainee clerk, and that's with karting. Um, so the goal with that is to become an international clerk, so I can clerk in Europe.
Hmm.
Um, but the main goal, like the dream, would be to do a race director in Formula One. That's like the absolute dream.
Yeah.
Um, but I decided to do the clerking and go-karts just because I knew go-karts.
Yeah.
Um, and then I can just transfer across later on.
Perfect. So what is the most challenging part of being a track marshal, would you say?
Um, Big incidents can be scary.
Hmm.
Well, I've had a couple where it's just like the red flag's been out, the ambulance is on track. Um, you've had cases where parents have like shouted across saying, "Do you know what's going on?" And you're like, "No, I don't actually."
Mm,
Like you have cases where you see like a stretch board, like a backboard come out.
yeah.
Now, a lot of this is precautionary, so it doesn't necessarily mean that they've injured their back, but
Mm,
it's a medic saying, "I think we should do this just in case."
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that can be quite tough. And then, especially when that's happened and that's the incident's been dealt with, and then you go back racing, it's like, now I gotta switch on my brain again.
Yeah.
And it's like, so that can be quite tricky. Um, I don't know if I, I know drive marshals who have like unfortunately dealt with death before,
Hmm.
and it's like, I don't know how I personally would be able to deal with that. Luckily, Motorsport UK they have like therapy services and all these procedures in place to make sure you can recover best you can from that.
That's where I really commend, obviously, people like you because kind of I feel like sometimes marshalling is a bit underrated in terms of how much it should be commended because you guys have to deal with a lot on track. Just it's one thing us being spectators and going, oh gosh, what's going on? But it's another thing to be right there on the front lines having to deal with it. So I have a great respect for you and many other marshals for being able to deal with that. And then, as you said, switching back on the, you got, races start back up and you've got to be in that mindset again, which is
Yeah,
extremely, extremely important. Uh,
yeah.
if there was one thing you would like people to take away from this interview in regards to track marshalling, what would it be?
We need a lot more. Like
Side of
honestly,
things, guys.
yeah, genuinely. No, I will say we do have a few people now who are kind of younger who are also using Instagram as a platform to promote their marshalling.
Hmm.
Um, and I think this is really helpful. Um, but especially in karting, um, marshalling is something that people have done kind of as like a retirement role.
Yeah.
Um, so we're gonna run out probably within the next 15 years.
Hmm.
Um, I've got a friend called Asa Pendu who does rally, like club level rallies.
Yeah.
And he was saying something like 8 clerks or something for the entire UK for rally.
Oh wow.
And it's like, okay, so what happens when they're all gone?
Yeah.
Does rally just not, do we just stop doing rallies in the UK? Um, yeah, so we do need a lot more. There are conversations about pay for marshals going on. So in kart marshalling, it's treated as a voluntary role. However, we will get money for compensation.
Hmm.
However, if you marshaled on tracks, I've not been aware of anybody get any money through that. I
Yeah.
think maybe like a voucher for lunch or like some,
Here's your lunch, guys.
yeah,
You get to take a break.
it's like a sandwich with like the thinnest piece of ham ever. Um, Now, so there are conversations about, should marshals be paid? Um, I don't know. Simple answer. I
Hmm.
think I would still do it if I didn't get paid. But if having pay means that we actually have marshalling, we have a minimum amount of marshals that we need,
Hmm.
then like sure. But yeah, it's the conversation can be tricky because then you also if a championship's hiring a track for a day, does that mean the championship raises their prices, which then makes it less accessible? Yeah, like we definitely need more.
Yeah, I'm on the side. I agree with you there. As we just spoken about the importance of track marshals, and I have noticed here and there on social media that there are a lack of, because we're always like, oh, where are the track marshals? They're supposed to be here. And it's like, well, they didn't actually have any specifically in in that region. And then it becomes a matter of safety. So yeah,
Yeah.
100%. That problem should be fixed. And thank
Yeah.
you for touching up on that. I did just want to ask, kind of moving on from that, what has been your most memorable experience being a track marshal?
Um, Seeing celebrities' kids.
Oh,
Um, yeah. Aikamatsu, he's got a son who races in karting. Um,
oh, right, yeah.
uh, I've I have helped his son recover from an incident before.
Is it
I've also walked him off track.
like glad he's okay, but can I
Yeah,
hide him, guys?
it's really interesting. Aikamatsu has this amazing ability to be so respectful, but almost build this wall around him.
Hmm.
So especially for testing or practice, these celebrities tend to be allowed on track, and that's because if the driver has an incident, they can walk off track with the driver and then just go into a room somewhere, just so they're not, our parents like a selfie and all that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, my son's just had a crash, not
D-
the time.
yeah.
I unfortunately have never met, but I have seen on social media that David Coulthard has gone to Wilson Mill a few times.
Oh, yeah.
His son races. He was there. I think it was 2 weekends ago for the club round. I was marshalling and I didn't get to see him. And then I go home and I see selfies of drivers like, oh, David Coulthard today. And it's like, come on, man. Like,
I was right there.
like, yeah, I literally could have just jumped over the fence into pit lane and been like, hey, David. Other ones, so when I've done championship rounds, I've seen certain drivers become champions, and that's always nice to see. There's certain families that I kind of built friendships with, and they kind of give me updates on how that driver's doing, and some of them are moving from a rental car series like Fat or Club 100, and then they're getting their own go kart, and it's really nice to see that develop. Um,
Mhm.
and A big memory from last year was Fat Car League did an event in America for their grand finals, and it was obviously like midnight and it was being shown. And it was me and one of the team for Fat. We were watching the live stream, messaging each other, and it was like a British versus America competition.
Yeah.
Um, we had a driver called Will Robertson who races in the cadet category. He like absolutely smoked them. We were like, yes, Will, for Britain.
That's real.
Kind of nice to see these drivers that you kind of build rapport with kind of go out and do well elsewhere. That's pretty cool.
100%. So, last and final question I have to ask you. If you could describe yourself with 3 words and 3 words only, what words would you choose and why? Difficult one here.
I know this is the hardest question. Like, could you have not asked me something about politics? It would have been easier.
It'd be easy to answer.
I know. Sensitive,
Hmm.
kind of well-meaning, and like passionate. Probably a good third word.
Yeah, I like those. I think
Yeah.
that's a really good pick there.
Yeah. I was gonna say ecstasy, but people are gonna think I'm on about the drug and not
That's
the
not what
emotion.
totally not the interview we were talking about.
No.
Well, thank you everyone for watching this episode of Rising Talent Talkers. Thank you very much, Matt, for being a part of this episode. It's been absolutely brilliant to talk to you. Very, very informative. So thank you very much. If you guys would like to see more episodes in the future, then be sure to